Hey everybody, welcome to another weekly market update. Today is February 2nd. I think it's February 2nd. It's February 3rd for me. I'm in New Zealand, so I'm up really early to do this update, but it's a fun update when everything's green, and that's what we got going on in the market. I hope you're doing well. That's what we wait for, is we wait for these markets to get green, and then that's when the probabilities in our favor. And like my friend Eddie says, when the probabilities are in your favor, that's when you got to push that accelerator pedal. And that's what we're doing in our cash flow machine mastermind group, where we do covered calls, stock options to bring us income. And we try to buy good stocks and get income on them while we wait. So if you look at this chart, there's nothing wrong with this thing. This is a lot of green, right? 4 green lights in the market. So that means that the things are going up. And I think things seem to be going up in the foreseeable future. We've got a jobs report that was so good that everybody's like, it's so good, it's bad, which means that the Fed may not print money. But let me tell you what's going on with the Fed real quick. If you're a Fed wonk like I am a little bit, they're not printing money. Well, the Fed isn't officially printing money. They don't want to print it because they're worried about inflation. So you know what's going on? Janet Yellen's going around them, and Janet Yellen's printing money at the Treasury. And so what's happening in the Treasury is they're actually providing huge amounts of liquidity, basically going against what the Fed is trying to do. So that's inflationary. That's why the market seems to go up. There's money coming out of somewhere, right? We know that this economy isn't awesome, even though they say that the jobs report's good. We know those numbers are fixed. But we know that what's keeping up these assets, the Bitcoins, the real estate prices, the stock markets, is that there's extra money in the market. And when there's extra money in the market, people need to put it somewhere, and they stuff it into the stock market because it's easy, right? And that's what's going on with this market. This is a beautiful chart, and you're going to see some more right now. Look at the NASDAQ. Beautiful chart, near all-time highs. It gapped down 3 days ago on some volume, and then now it's recovered basically that whole gap. It filled the gap today, and it's at all-time highs, pretty close anyway. S&P 500 is at all-time highs, at least at the moment. I printed out this chart a little bit ago. And so that's doing incredibly well. That's 500 stocks. And look at that chart from 4103 back in October. And here we are right at the beginning of February, and it's at, 4937. So it's gone up 800 points. It's almost a 20% run just in a couple of months. Pretty incredible move here. When will it end? I don't know. People are always telling me like, oh, it's got to stop sometime. Well, that's true. Markets don't go straight up or straight down. They oscillate. But there's a lot of strength in this market, and it's because of the Treasury and Fed thing that I was telling you about primarily. Money supply, M2 money supply. The Dow Jones, look at that, straight up and at all-time highs as well. New York Stock Exchange Composite finally caught up with the other indexes, straight up, and is at all-time highs as well. So you can look at the inverse relationship to the volatility indexes, which is pretty low. It's at the 1382 level. Reverting to the mean a little bit, but that mean has been going down, meaning that money's been coming back into the market over the last year. We've been in a bull market since January 9th of last year. So all that is really good. So I hope you're in some really good stocks, or I hope you're making some good income, and you're not afraid, and you haven't been waiting on the sidelines while this market's been melting up, because I think we're still in the beginning of a melt up period. You want to be in these markets when they're green. That's why I do these stock market updates every week, so you can know when we're green, because they don't always run like this, but when they do, you want to be in them. The NASDAQ computer index is interesting. So a lot of the computer stocks are going up. You know the NVIDIA story. You know the Apple story, which is not that great right now because they just had numbers yesterday. But there's an interesting stuff on the Apple chart that I'll talk about in a second. But the computer index is going crazy. Why? AI, right? If you listen to the chairman of NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is a super stock, if you listen to him, he says the whole computer industry is being rewritten, right, by AI. Like computer software is going to write itself. Computers will be doing things that we don't even think about that they can do today. So the whole industry is being turned on its head. So you want to be in that industry, at least when the strength is there, and the relative strength is certainly there. The markets are going up, and when the market's going up, the broker dealers are doing well. So this is a broker dealer index. It's really, really a nice chart here as well. Just keeps going to higher highs. Here's Tesla. Tesla had weaker margins, more sales, but weaker margins last week and got punished. There's a big gap sitting out there around the 205 level, all the way down to where we are now, the 183 level. And that gap wants to be filled. Hopefully it'll be filled sooner rather than later. To me, Tesla is in this little range above 180. I don't know if it's going to test it or not. If it tests it and it has a high volume test, 152 is in play. But I suspect that what it wants to do is go fill that gap around the 195 to 205 level, and then hopefully head back up to its 50-day moving average. We have a death cross happening in Tesla right now, so that's not good. NVIDIA is the opposite story. NVIDIA is at an all-time high, and it just keeps making new highs. By the way, this is just education, and people like the way I read charts, so that's why I'm doing it for you. But you need to do your own research instead of listening to some bald guy on the internet. But NVIDIA, look at that chart. It's just a fantastic chart. SMCI is on a breakout as well. There's a lot of good stuff going on in the market. Where is my Apple chart? Apple is not there. Here, let me try something else here. Let me show you a live Apple chart. Let's see, how do I do that? Live Apple chart right here. All right, so there's live Apple chart. So Apple is doing something really interesting. Here's a 180 swing point on Apple. It's 62 million shares, right? So that's a pretty decent swing point, and you can see it went up to this level here, which is 196. So it had that beautiful swing point, and then it came down, coming into numbers, had a little gap down, and then today it went down and it tested that 180 level. See how it went below that right here? And it's already got 63 million shares, and this is a 62 million share candle. So it's blown that away. Now, what normally happens is when you have high volume and it blows away a swing point, it keeps going down. However, it's got a hammer candle going on. See how this looks like a little hammer that's standing up on its edge? Well, that's what's going on. It's going to be a high volume hammer candle at a weird spot on the chart, admittedly. So you don't see this very normally. But basically that says, you know what, enough selling, guys. We've got a good report on Apple from last night, and we're done with the selling. We've tested the 180. We took it out. We took it out with volume, but we're going to reverse it. And there's a big buyer in Apple right now that's reversing this candle. As you can see, the stock is down $1.07, but it was even just a few minutes ago after a $6 move today. So keep an eye on this candle. This is a big one today, coming out of numbers. But Apple, to me, I don't know, it's Apple. And eventually, it's gonna keep going higher. They sell more iPhones and they sell more subscriptions and they do all kinds of really great things. And so I wouldn't doubt Apple too much. One of the lights really hitting my head. Anyway, hey, listen, so thanks for being here. Hope you're having a great week in this market. It is a lot of fun when things are going up, and so I hope you're getting to participate in it. But in any case, whatever you participate in this weekend, I hope it's awesome. Catch you next week on the weekly stock market update. Take care. Bye.